You rang. Yeah, we rang. Welcome to Dallas Mavericks Today. Boban's the GOAT, repping the shirt. You see it? Yeah. It's big time. Here's the deal, though. The real ones, the real Mavs fans, you know what to do. Type MFFL in the comments. If you're not a real one, then don't type MFFL because you're probably a fan of those bum-ass Rockets or another team in the NBA. Basketball is almost back. Training camp is here. Flood the comments if you are a real one. And let's get into today's news here on Dallas Mavericks Today. All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Training camp is getting underway, so let's get into some of today's top headlines. Dwight Powell, well, according to Jason Kidd, he is going to be the starting center, at least at the beginning of the season. He announced that today, that the plan is to start Dwight Powell at the 5, so Kristaps Porzingis can start and play more at that power forward position, which we had heard that part the other day, so we're like, okay, is it going to be Maxi Kleber? Is it going to be Dwight Powell? Well, it's going to be Dwight Powell, and honestly, in the past, Powell has played better with Porzingis than Kleber has, so I'm not super surprised by this. I think Kleber's a better player, but having him off the bench could be more valuable anyway, so it could be a win-win. And obviously for Powell, started slow last year coming off the Achilles, but really picked it up down the stretch. The final 16 games, averaged 9.2 points per game, 5.7 rebounds in just 22 minutes, 77.5% from the field. He knows exactly who he is as a player. I don't need him jacking up threes at this point in his career. The question is, can we get good Dwight Powell? Because before that final stretch, now part of that's coming off the Achilles, but at times he was unplayable. He was just not very good at all last year, and Rick Carlisle could not play him. So hopefully we get the version we saw down the stretch last year. You know, you see this a lot with Achilles. That first year back, it doesn't look great, but then the year after that, they look like themselves again. I hope that is the case with Dwight Powell, because if you get that high, energetic, above-the-rim type of player, you bring that energy next to Kristaps Porzingis, I think that could be a formidable front court for this Mavericks team. So what do you think? Do you like starting Dwight Powell at center? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comments. Do you like Powell getting the starting nod at the 5? Now, obviously, this means that Maxi Kleber won't be starting at center, at least at first. And again, Jason Kidd said all this is subject to change. I think, you know, you and I, you being the audience, me being the host, all know the only for sure starters are going to be Luka and Kristaps. I mean, other than that, and other than that, everything's up for grabs. Probably Tim Hardaway, but we've seen him be a sniper 6-man as well. But I think he's pretty safe in the starting 5. I think you'll see times, though, where Kristaps starts at the 5, Kleber starts at the 5 as well. I think you could see scenarios where Dodo comes off the bench and Reggie Bullock gets the start. He did mention Jason Kidd that Dorian Finney-Smith would also be a part of that front court with THJ and Luka in the backcourt. So this is your projected starting 5, but you've got all that depth as well with Bullock and obviously Jalen Brunson and some of those other pieces as well. But with Powell getting that starting nod at the 5 because of Kristaps playing more 4 this year, at least that's the plan for now, that does mean Maxi Kleber comes off the bench, but I don't mind a bench unit of Jalen Brunson, Reggie Bullock, Sterling Brown, and Maxi Kleber at all. I think that's a really formidable bench type of core right there, with, of course, mixing in guys like Willie Cauley-Stein, Boban from time to time as well. So should be interesting to see how Jason Kidd mixes and matches his rotations compared to what we saw from Rick Carlisle over the past several years. Will the Mavs be better or worse this season? That's the question for you guys. Type B for better, type W for worse. I think this team got better. Now, did they get as much better as I was hoping for? Probably not. I would have liked a little more splash in free agency, but I thought this team did a decent job, added a couple of nice pieces. Let me know what you guys think. Will this team be better or worse for the upcoming season? Shout out to BetUS. It is today's presenting sponsor, and BetUS, well, it's the best sports book in the game. If you love betting on sports like producer Sam does, then, well, get going with BetUS. You new BetUS customers, go to the link below, chatsports.com/MFFL. Use the promo code MFFL. Put down $100 into your account. You'll get $125 for free with that promo code, the 125% deposit bonus. And how about them Cowboys? Guys, I think the Cowboys are pretty good, and I know a lot of you guys are Cowboys fans, being Mavs fans as well here in the Metroplex. I like Dallas minus 4.5 against Carolina. Now, the Panthers played last Thursday, and with Dallas playing on Monday, kind of a pretty brutal scheduling quirk for the Cowboys, but they are at home for the second straight week. Offense is rolling, defense is creating turnover. Sam Darnold will give you an opportunity to get an interception. So I'm gassing Dallas minus 4.5. Chatsports.com/MFFL. That is the link you must go to. So open a separate tab, type that in, use the promo code MFFL, and then make some money. Go bet on the Cowboys this Sunday. Okay, let's get to the next story here. Trey Burke is unvaccinated. I'm not going to get into the politics of this. I have my opinions. You have your opinions. I'm not going to change your mind. You're probably not going to change my mind. So let's leave that there. The point of this story, though, is because a lot of you guys are probably seeing this this graphic. You're like, why are you talking about if a guy's vaccinated or not? Well, because there's health and safety protocols to consider, and Jason Kidd has made it clear he wants a 100% vaccination rate by opening night. So Trey Burke, a guy who is on the roster bubble with the protocols, with certain local mandates across the NBA, him being unvaxxed doesn't help his cause of making the roster. Again, Trey Burke can do whatever he wants to do. I'm not here to determine what he does with his life. What I am telling you is he's coming off a poor season, and vaccination status absolutely comes into play for roster bubble players. You better believe that. Yeah, Bradley Beal's unvaccinated in Washington. They're not going to cut him. But you know what? The Mavs have 16 bodies fighting for 15 spots, and Trey Burke is firmly on the bubble. Him being unvaxxed could come into play for Jason Kidd and this coaching staff. That is just a simple fact. You don't like it? That's just the reality of the situation, guys. I'm not saying I like it or don't. This is just the truth of the matter. If you don't think that that guys in the NFL a few months ago got cut, guys on the bubble because they were unvaxxed, you're just wrong. That is how these teams are having to operate because you have to be available. And if you're unvaccinated, the protocols don't help out your chances of being available if you're a close contact or obviously if you test positive as well. So what will the Mavs do with Trey Burke? Vaxxed or not? What do you think? Because I think he could have been cut regardless of his vaccination status. Type K for keep him. Type C for cut him. What will Trey Burke, what will happen with him? I think he might get cut, man. I think it's down to him or Tyrell Terry, maybe a couple of other guys in the mix, but I'm going to guess my C for cut. They might opt with the young guy in Tyrell Terry. Okay, Tyson Chandler is back. Well, sort of. He hasn't officially retired, but I think his playing days are probably behind him. He's been living in the Dallas area, hasn't played since that 2019-20 season, but he's been working with the Mavericks bigs this offseason. Now, obviously, a couple of free agency, situations caused Tyson to leave. He never wanted to leave. We know how that all played out, but he's always loved the Mavs. He's always liked Mark Cuban. They've always gotten along, and so Mark Cuban launched the Mavs Legends program that basically has former Mavs greats stay involved in the organization. So Tyson Chandler's been involved. Jason Kidd hit him up, and he's been helping out some of these bigs on this roster. And hey, I think that is certainly a good thing because I like Tyson. He has championship pedigree. If nothing else, he can offer good advice. Here's what Kidd had to say. Tyson is now living in the Dallas area. Wanted to kind of get his feet wet to see what coaching is all about, so we have him on board for our Mavs Legends program. Also, JJ Barea is under that umbrella too. I think it's cool to have these guys involved because these are two of the, especially over the last 10 or 15 years, bigger faces of the franchise. I know Tyson was only here for, a couple of years. He played the 1 year in Dallas, won a title, left, came back, he left again after that whole snafu. But these are two guys that were critical on the championship team. Mavs fans love both these guys, especially JJ Barea. I think Barea in the future will probably be a coach of this team at some point, whether it's a head coach or an assistant. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I like having these guys involved. I think it's good for some of the young guys to, even a guy like Luka, who has not had playoff success yet in terms of winning, to be around guys who have been through the battles, who have gone through this and have played at a very, very high level. So that's a cool story. He's back in the mix. No official role within the team, just a part of that Mavs Legends program, like I mentioned, that Mark Cuban launch, which I think is a great idea. I'd like to see guys like Sean Marion and Jason Terry get involved as well. But for now, JJ and Chandler, which is a very, very exciting thing. By the way, we'll end on this question. You can't say Dirk. Okay, we'll allow it. You can say Dirk. But maybe you have another name. Who is your favorite Maverick of all time? You just kind of start thinking about them. Dirk's obvious. You could say Luka as well, but think of guys who aren't on the team currently. Think of that about the title team. Jason Terry, Jason Kidd, who's the coach now, obviously. Sean Marion's was a fan favorite as well. Hell, producer Sam said Deshaun Stevenson. I'm like, he was kind of a badass. Let's be honest. I mean, he's gonna lock you up on defense. Lots of names. Josh Howard, a bunch of them over the years. Peja Stojakovic, favorite Maverick of all time. If you want to say Dirk, I guess you can, but it says can't say Dirk. Get a name in the comments. We'll see you soon, I should say, with some more Mavs news and rumors. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you then.